What's up, everybody? My name is OMG, WTF, LOF to WBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, not 2020. I know, it's 2022. Come on, it's been 2 years. Sorry. Maybe one day I'll pull the trigger. Not today. Nonetheless, it is Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are back with more TNA. We are wrestling. It's been a little bit since we've had some TNA, and, well, I think we all like a little TNA. Anyways, let's get started with Impact. I have no idea where I was going with that intro. I guess I kind of should have done like a bit of a recap on the previous episode. I don't really remember exactly what happened in the previous episode. I believe Ron Killings made his debut last week, technically. Jeff Jarrett qualified for the King of the Mountain match finally. Norman Smiley and him had a match, and I believe Ron Killings actually cost Norman Smiley that match. And we did actually have a bit of news here tonight, now that I remember. So, if I'm correct, I believe last time we left off, the King of the Mountain qualifiers in order were Chris Hero, Shane Douglas, Kid Cash, and now Jeff Jarrett. And we have 2 more slots left to go. Or did I already have somebody qualify? I don't want to spoil who it is just in case I haven't. No. I think they're qualifying tonight. I don't freaking remember. Anyway, nonetheless, the big news is Shane Douglas, who was in the King of the Mountain match. In fact, spoiler here, but it's not much of a spoiler anymore, but we'll get to that. But Shane Douglas was actually going to win the King of the Mountain match and be the inaugural TNA World Champion. And the whole storyline I was going to go with there was he's kind of like the torchbearer kind of thing. You know, he's the first ever ECW World Champion, first ever TNA World Champion. So he's kind of like, you know, the first of a lot of things. It's kind of like the story I was going to go off of, is that he's so great that, you know, he sets the bar for the up-and-coming companies kind of deal or something like that. Pretty much how I was going to go with it. I think I was going to align him with Kid Cash and Chris Candido. Chris Candido, of course, had his issues and he left. Shane Douglas, and in fact, I think I might have put it in here. Yeah, so what had happened with Shane Douglas here is Conan, I guess, he was being obnoxious and he got into a fight with Shane Douglas. So we gave a stern warning to Conan saying like, hey, look, dude, it's not... I don't care, you know, wrestling is wrestling. You know, you be obnoxious all you want, but not to the point where you're going to start a fight. And, of course, you know, that's... Oh, wait, what? Oh, we gave Shane Douglas a stern warning. The other way around. Sorry. But, so pretty much the whole thing is like, yeah, you know, people can be obnoxious. Pretty much what I just said there, but we're not trying to start a fight, you know. And Shane, like, you're an adult. You should be able to, you know, just be the bigger man and walk away from stupid shit like that. But obviously, he wasn't able to. Shane Douglas got into a fight. We gave him a stern warning. Conan thought it was soft, and I think we have simmering tension with Conan now. And then Shane Douglas, I think, was, of course, you know, mad at us for scolding him. And then we did a hardline stance because our backstage is actually kind of bad right now with all the drug problems and whatnot going on and people getting fired and blah, blah, blah. So, we did a hardline stance. Shane Douglas chose to walk out of TNA, and therefore he is no longer in the King of the Mountain match, and he won't be the first ever TNA World Champion either. So my whole storyline there, completely gone. Not that big of a deal, but big announcement, you know, news, I guess, here in on the what am I trying to say? Here in TNA. Anyway, while we have the notepad up, let's continue on. Scotty Mack doesn't connect with the fans in Ron Killings' opinion, and he has a little upside. And Jay Lethal has poor in-ring psychology, and he's not worth keeping around, according to Buff Bagwell. Well, Buff, unfortunately, you're probably not one I want to take or one's opinion I want to take for too granted here, because being quite honest, you have a bit of a problem yourself, as we've seen in certain matches. I think a couple of superstars mad at me for being in a match with you while you were under the influence. And in fact, it says right here, fine Buff for working under the influence. But he was happy with it, surprisingly. Buff's like, I'm trying to turn things around. So I guess he was happy that we are pushing him. Like, maybe, I need that tough love, he's thinking. He also farted, but I decided to take no action with that because, well, as gross as it may be, farting is a natural thing that humans do, and I don't think I should punish somebody for farting. And I think I made the right decision there. No one was mad with me. Sunny was caught using soft drugs backstage, and we fined her. You try to make her go to rehab, and I said you're fined. Anyway, I can't send her to rehab because we don't have contracts yet. So that is unfortunate. Anyway, now that we've got all the news out of the way, and we're close to 10 minutes into this video. How long are we into this? Is it not going to tell me? Are we going to have to enter the Twilight Zone? In the Twilight Zone. Okay, only 6 minutes, but still 5 minutes into the video and nothing happened. 57 C- rating here. We have a pre-show matchup and a decent match. Oh no, we weren't in the freaking TNA arena. I just realized that. Damn it. In a decent pre-show matchup, Jeff Jarrett and Juventud Guerrera defeated the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, when Juventud Guerrera defeated Alex Shelley with the Dragon Suplex. Chris Sabin was off his game here tonight. He had an in-ring performance of a 38. Alex Shelley with a 41. Juventud with a 64. And Jeff Jarrett with a 68. Jarrett is improving in his performance. Alex Shelley improving in his Rumble. Moving on to our next segment. I believe this is our opening segment of the night. 57 C- rating here, as Impact opens with the arrival of Smiley Norman Smiley as he makes his way down to the ring. The color commentary put over the mix-up and the King of the Mountain matchup, which I just explained to you a few minutes ago, the mix-up being that Shane Douglas no longer in the company. I'm not sure if we want to give it like a kayfabe reason, or if we just want to shoot on him and be like, oh yeah, he, walked out. I think we do actually address it, so I'll talk about it when I talk about it. Nonetheless, though, put over the mix-up of the King of the Mountain match, and they assume that's why Smiley is out here. Once in the ring, Norman takes to the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, from the office of Jerry Jarrett, I have the announcement. After a difference of opinions, Total Nonstop Action and Shane Douglas have agreed that it would be better if we have parted ways. With that being said, Shane Douglas was in our King of the Mountain matchup, and with his departure, it frees up a spot in the King of the Mountain matchup. So with that being said, tonight, along with our other King of the Mountain matchup that we had already planned between Sabu and King Knight, we will also have a four-way dance between the four men who came up short in their previous qualifying matches. So in tonight's main event, it'll be Conan versus Buff Bagwell versus Brian Adams versus yours truly, Norman Smiley. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and enjoy the show. And as, of course, Smiley's waving to the fans, about to walk out of the ring and whatnot, he is interrupted by the arrival of Ron the Truth Killings. I should have known. What did you do this week, huh, Norman? Give Mr. Jarrett a nice happy ending so you can have a happy ending? I bet Douglas walked out because he found out it is just as unfair as I do that Mr. Jarrett's whipping boy gets shot after shot. Norman, for a man who spent week after week complaining over Jeff Jarrett's whining, you sure as hell do a lot yourself. What are you talking about, Ron? First things first, I've never complained, nor have I begged to anyone, Mr. Jarrett included, to get to my spot. And second of all, the only reason I'm in this match is because of you. If that's not karma, I don't know what is. You know, and if it wasn't for me, you would have lost anyway. Would you think you was gonna beat Jeff Jarrett? Come on, man. You isn't that good. I did you a favor, Norman. I saved you from embarrassment. I gave you an excuse, a way out. Hell, I probably even saved your damn job. And that's the truth. Twist it however you want, Ron. That was last week, and this is this week. And unlike last week, I'm going to have my eyes on the back of my head. Because I'm going to be on the lookout for you, Ron. You ain't pulling what you pulled last week. Not on my watch. Oh, you going to need them. You're going to need eyes all over your body, Norman. Because right when you least expect it, pow! I could be right there. And that's kind of where the segment ends. Maybe Ron Killens, slowly walks to the back while Norman's just kind of shake. Yeah, I'll be watching and I'll be waiting or something like that. They kind of have a bit of a stare off, and then we send it back to Tony Schiavone and Don West. Almost said Mike Tenay, but we don't have Mike Tenay. Nonetheless, though, yes, the news was announced. Shane Douglas no longer in the King of the Mountain matchup. So along with our other King of the Mountain matchup, which will be between King Knight and Sabu, which we'll see in just a second here. We'll also have a four-way dance between the four previous wrestlers who lost their matchups, which I just said a couple seconds ago, so I'm just repeating myself at this point. But to complete the sentence anyway, Conan, Buff Bagwell, Brian Adams, and Norman Smiley. Ron Killings, none too happy about it. Angle got the show off to a strong start. Crowd is hot. And storylines, of course, that gained, only one gained heat. But Shut Up, Buff gained heat, and the Truth Shall Set You Free just advanced. Moving on, we just have a bit of a, hype kind of thing, package, whatever. Tonight, four-way dance, Conan, Buff Bagwell, Brian Adams, Norman Smiley. All right. 53C minus rating here as we are back from our commercial break. Queen and King Knight are making their way down to the ring for our next King of the Mountain qualifying matchup. Out next is Sabu, led down to the ring by Dom Maring, but during their entrance, Queen takes to the mic. Oh my God. Don, you can't be serious. That man has rabies, and my king won't be facing him. Dom Marie then takes to the mic herself. Well, if that's the case, then King and Queen may leave the building and take this count-out loss. Because the only way that this king is getting to the mountain is through Sabu. Dom Marie then unchains Sabu, and Sabu goes running at King Knight, who eventually slides out of the ring, trying to catch his breath before getting back in the ring and agreeing to the fight to start the matchup. So just a little bit of a segment here to give a little bit more heat. One thing that I've noticed from playing my own private game and just kind of watching the computers in general, the one thing they do a lot is they'll do a segment or a promo, whatever it is, a freestyle segment, some sort of angle before a matchup between the two people who are going to have the matchup. And I think the reason they do that is because it adds heat to it. And we'll see after this, more than likely, as we head into this matchup, there'll be a little bit of heat because they had a little bit of a segment before the match. Besides between, if they didn't have anything before the matchup, it might have some heat because they're more of the two over superstars, but it might not have that much heat, if any heat, because they're just a cold match thrown between these two. So that's kind of what I've noticed from the computer playing that I'm picking up on, and so far I think it's worked from what I've done. Anyway, 53C minus as we move on to the actual matchup here. 56C minus rating here, and about that had good heat. See, now granted, again, like I mentioned, Sabu, King Knight, two of our more over superstars, especially Sabu. He is, I believe, the most over superstar, just coming off of the run with the WWE. But still, between that could have been like maybe decent heat and decent wrestling. But with that angle going in, we got good heat. At least I'd like to believe that in my head. We'll have to try it with maybe 2 unpopular superstars and see where it goes from there. But unfortunately, on this episode, I think it's kind of a bit more of a star-studded episode, more than normal, I should say. Nonetheless, and about that had good heat and decent wrestling, Sabu defeats King Knight in 6 minutes 25 seconds with a springboard DDT after a distraction from Bryan Adams. So if you'll remember correctly, Bryan Adams and King Knight have a bit of a feud going on here. It seemed like it started between a little bit of a stare down between King Knight and Bryan Adams before Adams' qualifying matchup against Shane Douglas, who ironically is not going to be in the match anymore. And I'm not exactly sure what's going through King Knight's head, but what I'd like to imagine is maybe it's kind of the 2 big man syndrome, like there can only be room for one of us, and well, he is a king, so he's got a bit of an ego. He did cost Bryan Adams that matchup against Shane Douglas, and they've had a little bit of a interaction between each other over the past couple of weeks, and it seems like it's not quite done yet because Bryan Adams is going to return the favor here tonight and cost King Knight his chance into the King of the Mountain ladder match, but he might have done King Knight a favor here because I don't know how well he would have done. Nonetheless, Sabu does get the victory after a bit of a distraction from Bryan Adams, hits that springboard DDT, taking the King down, and Sabu moves on into the King of the Mountain matchup. Queen did some good work ringside. This match got the crowd hotter. Sabu with an in-ring performance of a 71, King Knight with a 46. And King Knight's improving in his technical skills of all things. Interesting. Moving on, we have a 54 C- rating as we send it backstage to Bobby. Ladies and gentlemen, we found out earlier tonight that a spot has opened in the King of the Mountain matchup, and that spot will be filled tonight as the 4 men who previously had a shot get a second chance in tonight's Fatal 4-Way main event. Joining me now, one of the 4 men in that matchup, Conan. How you doing, Bobby? Look, let's talk about this 4-way dance, okay? I got Big Bryan Adams, Smiling Norman Smiley, and Bluff Bagwell. And you know why I call him Bluff, Bobby? Because he's all talk and no action. And there's one thing that sucks about me getting my redemption, is his dumb ass is getting another shot too. This time though, Buff, there's no sneaking up on me and attacking me from behind. I got my eyes on you tonight. That's when Buff comes in from like out of shot here and into shot. Ha! You know, funny how you didn't mention how you also cost me my matchup. You alluded to it, but no mention. Only after you poked your nose in my business did I get involved in your matchup. Besides, you got what was coming to you, Buff. And just like you're about to get more if you don't get to stepping. Oh, hold on, I gotta pull out the handy-dandy notepad for the rest of this. I thought it was... Okay, whatever. That's when Buff Bagwell quickly hides behind China. Come on now, K-Dog. Let's save it for the match. Be easy. Be easy. You know, Buff, you was always a coward. Only difference is back then you had bigger, more masculine bodyguards. If you think you scare me, mama, then you got another thing coming. Because I'm nothing but an equal opportunist, and I got no problem smacking a bitch. And I got no problem slapping you too, China. That's when he looks over at Buff. I'll see you out there, bitch. Strong words from Conan, but then again, he's always had a bit of a mouth to him, as we know or don't know. I'll be honest, I don't really know a whole lot about Conan. I know he's like one of the biggest stars in Mexico. I know he wrestled for WCW, and of course he's been in like TNA and I think AEW as well. But I don't know if I've actually ever really seen any of his work. So, I don't know. I know just a little bit of things here and there. That's why I don't even know how to really do his voice. Plus, I'm not really good at doing like Hispanic voices at all, as we can tell. I'm not really good at doing any voices. Anyway, Bobby did horrible improvising dialogue. Well, that's to be expected, but who cares really? It's not about her getting over. Conan worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise. Good for him. Buff improvised well as well. Good for him. Well as well. Bobby looked dreadful. Again, you're just the interviewer, so it's fine. China Doll looked good. Good for her. And no nothing. No improvements or anything. Anyway, 29 solid E rating here as we have a recap video that airs showcasing the matchup between Jay Lethal and Juventud Guerrera from last week, following the beatdown from Lucha Underground, which of course is the three-man stable between Juventud Guerrera, Aguila, and Julio De Niro. And then, of course, also the save from Super Crazy. And once over, the color commentary team sends it back to a pre-taped promo between Jay Lethal and Super Crazy. Super Crazy, I can't thank you enough, man. You really saved my butt last week. Don't thank me yet, because the fight isn't over yet. Tonight, you get a chance at vengeance when you and I take on Juventud's goons, Aguila and Julio De Niro. Listen here. Juventud, you and your friends are all fantastic wrestlers, but your aspirations to rule this division end here. I couldn't have said it better myself. Look, I know I'm young, and I know I'm just getting my foot in the door in this business, but I'm looking to make my mark. And I know all three of you look down on me and the rest of the American talent in the X Division. I know you feel Lucha Libre is better, and Lucha Libre is awesome, don't get me wrong, but so is the X Division. And tonight, I'm going to pull out the handy-dandy notepad, and tonight, I'm going to show you and everyone watching just what the X Division is made of. And also what I'm also going to do is erase all this crap here so I don't have to keep scrolling down over and over and over again. Anyway, this did lose heat, but that is the sacrifices that we are going to have to make in order to get some people over, like a Jay Lethal, for example. So these earlier on things are going to suffer for that. Moving on, we have a 52D plus rating here, and about that had decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. See? It doesn't work all the time. Or maybe it just doesn't work at all. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm just trying to pick up on what the computers do. They normally do segments. We did a little bit of a segment there, and it didn't really add that much heat. So maybe it doesn't work all the time. Or maybe it added more heat, just not enough to actually get the heat over. I don't know. Anyway, maybe you guys know. Let me know. Super Crazy and Jay Lethal defeat Aguila and Julio De Niro in 13 minutes, 52 seconds when Super Crazy defeats Julio with a crazy bomb. Julio De Niro had a 50 in-ring performance, outperforming his partner. That's impressive. Only by a point, but still. De Niro with a 50 in-ring performance, Aguila with a 49, Jay Lethal with a 41, the lowest of everybody, but still not that bad. And Super Crazy with a 55. It didn't say anything about Jay Lethal struggling to keep up with his partners or opponents or anything, so that's normally good, I think. That it means that he's able to keep up in the ring with them. Anyway, gained heat for the Lucha Underground owns the X Division storyline. And then afterwards, do we have anything? We do. A 48 solid D rating as just a generic angle here of Lucha Underground jumping Jay Lethal and Super Crazy after the matchup. And then standing over them as well. All right, 45 solid D rating here as we just have a bit of a squash match here, probably after a commercial break, just thrown in there. 45 solid D rating. Kid Cash defeats Kenny Omega in 7 minutes, 41 seconds with the bankroll. Kenny Omega had an in-ring performance of a 20. Kid Cash with a 53. Omega is improving in his performance skills. I had some extra time, so I kind of threw this match together, and I also wanted to kind of I wanted to showcase all the people in the King of the Mountain match in a way still. I don't think I had Chris Hero on this show, but he was on last week's show, I believe. And Kid Cash, I don't think, was on the last show before this, so I still kind of wanted to build up his momentum as well. And like I said, I had some time, so I figured, why the hell not? Let's go ahead and add this. Nonetheless, Kenny Omega had an in-ring performance of a 20, Kid Cash with a 53. Moving on to the next segment, 52 D plus rating as after the match, Tony Schiavone takes off his headset and joins Kid Cash and Terry in the ring with a mic. Kid Cash, decisive victory here tonight as you continue to build momentum into the King of the Mountain matchup. Speaking of the King of the Mountain matchup, What was your reaction to the news of Shane Douglas leaving TNA and his spot opening up and being offered to the men who previously had a shot but came up short? I think it's a joke. So you mean to tell me, despite the fact that I beat Kitty Cat Conehan, he gets another shot? Do I get some sort of advantage in this match because I managed to stay out of the loser's bracket? Look, Tony, honestly, it doesn't matter who wins this stupid four-way, and it doesn't matter who's in the match with me in the first place. The odds-on favorite for this matchup is yours truly, and if you want to follow the money, always bet on Kid Cash. Let's go, baby. Apparently, Tony Schiavone debuted his sportscaster gimmick, and it got awful. I hate when that happens, but I don't really plan on using Tony Schiavone, but now he's going to be mad at me. Just advanced the storylines and got Kid Cash some momentum and screen time as well. And some mic time. 40 D- as we send it backstage to Bobby once again. This was during our commercial break. Bobby caught up with Lucha Underground. Hoovy, can we get a word? Oh, for you, baby? You can have the whole sentence. What can the juice do for you? 2 weeks in a row, you and the rest of Lucha Underground have attacked your opponents after the match is over. Mind you, while this is all going on, I imagine kind of like Aguila and Julio De Niro kind of like creeping in on Bobby as well. Oh, come on, Bobby. Haven't you gotten it yet? Us three? The three amigos? We do whatever we want. And you know why? Because we own the X Division. Let's go party, guys. And they walk off, leaving the arena to, go party. Did lose heat for the storyline. That's unfortunate, but it's also okay. 64 solid C rating as Norman Smiley is walking down the entryway, making sure to keep an eye out for Ron Killings, watching his back, watching his sides, making sure Ron can't sneak up on him, but is caught off guard by Jeff Jarrett of all people. Well, howdy, Normie. And Norman Smiley, that's when he jumps up and prepares to fight. Good Lord, Jeff. Almost took your head off. That's a good one, Normie. Like that'll ever happen. Why are you so jumpy, can I ask? Got nerves before your big match? Wouldn't want to lose again, am I right? Am I right? No, you ain't right, Jeff. No, excuse me, I was wrong. I said that wrong. No, you're wrong, Jeff. Shit, I said it wrong again. How stupid is that? How is it literally in front of my face and I read it wrong? No. You're right, Jeff. You're right. I wouldn't want to lose twice. Like you did to Chris Hero. That's when Jeff Jarrett spits his drink out despite, Norman flubbing his lines twice there. You better watch your damn mouth, Smiley. I ain't gonna let you talk to me that way. No, you better watch your mouth, Jeff. I'm tired of you thinking... And before Norman can get the words out of his mouth, that is when he is jumped from behind by who? By Ron Killings, of course. Ron Killings jumps Norman Smiley from behind before beating him down backstage, tossing him into the interview set, and pretty much just knocking him unconscious. Well, goddamn, Ron! Did you have to ruin the set? Sorry about that. So, hey, Jeff. Seeing that Norman... more than likely ain't gonna be in this fatal four-way matchup. Why don't you let me take his spot? Well, damn it, Ron. Hold on. Let me pull up this handy-dandy notepad here. What the hell makes you think I can do that in the first place? Well, you are a Jarrett, right? And last I checked, your daddy's not here, right? And the acting commissioner glances down at Norman Smiley. Well, he's currently asleep on the job. Right? Ron, where are you going with this? Well, if we're looking at the chain of command, I would assume if Jerry isn't here and Smiley's snoring, that would make the next in the chain Jeff Jarrett. And that's you, isn't it? Oh, you know what, Ron? I like the way you think. I only preach the truth, Mr. Jarrett. And since you're such an honest and hard-working wrestler here in TNA, I think you should be rewarded. You know what, Ron? A spot has actually just opened up in our advertised Fatal 4-Way matchup. And we can't go back on our word as promised. We're already going back on our word with Shane Douglas not being here. We can't do it twice in one show. We promised people a fatal 4-way match, and damn it, that's what they're going to get. Look, Ron, I know it's last minute, but can I count on you to take your place in this? Are oranges green? What? What? It's true, Jeff. Just like green oranges, you can count on the truth. And that's when Ron the Killings leave, and Jeff's just kind of sitting there wondering, what the hell is he talking about? What the hell is he? Orange is green. He's got problems. Nonetheless, though, looks like Ron Killings got his way. I'm not sure if this was a plan between Jeff Jarrett or not. It could have just been circumstantial. Ron could have been waiting for the old cliche, let me jump you during the entrance. But nonetheless, Jeff Jarrett providing a distraction here for Ron the Truth Killings. And, of course, upsetting Norman Smiley enough just to kind of have him take his eye off the prize. And long enough for Ron Killings to snatch that prize away from Norman Smiley. This did gain heat for both the King of the Mountain and the Truth Shall Set You Free storyline. Color commentary gave boost to it as well. As we move on to our main event of the night, our fatal 4-way matchup gets a 52 D+ rating to it. And about that had great heat and decent wrestling. Ron Killings, you guessed it, defeats Buff Bagwell, Bryan Adams, and Conan in 17 minutes, 14 seconds when Ron Killings defeats Bryan Adams with the Truth or Consequences following interference from King Knight. But again, I'm just going to say let's ignore the Truth or Consequences here. Let's just say by pinfall following interference from King Knight. Because the way I'd like to imagine this going down is, of course, with the building tension between Conan and Buff Bagwell. Conan maybe trying to escape Buff as I think I said that backwards. Buff Bagwell is trying to escape Conan as Buff cowers through the crowd. Conan goes for the chase, leaving just Ron Killings and Bryan Adams. And of course, as it looks like Adams might be picking up the win, that's when King Knight comes down to the ring, attacks Bryan Adams, hits him with whatever the hell his finish is, and Ron Killings, of course, watching all this go down, seeing his opportunity, just crawls over, pins Bryan Adams. 1, 2, 3, Ron Killings is in the King of the Mountain matchup. So with that being said, I think now all qualifying spots have been filled. We have Chris Hero. It used to be Shane Douglas, but now it is Ron the Truth Killings. Jeff Jarrett, Kid Cash, and Sabu. Actually, I think we have one more spot to determine. So I thought we might have, but I wasn't too sure. Unless that person's already qualified, and I just don't want to spoil it because I don't know if they had it or not. Anyway, China Doll did some good work at ringside. Biker Babe also did some good work at ringside. Conan with an in-ring performance of a 52. Buff Bagwell with a surprising 55, outperforming everyone here tonight. He must not have been on drugs. Bryan Adams with a 48, the worst of everybody. And Ron Killings with a 53. Buff Bagwell, damn. See, when Buff Bagwell doesn't, use any drugs or anything, he actually is able to pull out a decent performance here. 56 C- rating, increasing our popularity in 4 regions. And that's going to do it. That's pretty good, though. 4 regions. I think that's all the regions were probably on TV, and maybe this region here as well, because I don't know if we're based in it or not. Anyway, that is going to be the end of the episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor, leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you have not already. And as always, my name has been OMG, WTF, LOL, FTW, BRB. And I will see you guys in the next video. So until then, don't forget to share the video with your friends, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Instagrams. I don't give a damn. I almost forgot to say that. But until then, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you next time.